And you know, the greatest memory I think I have when you talk about the wrestling business, just the wrestling. You know, Chris, I was trying to, maybe you'll be able to give me the answer on that. I was thinking of that today because I knew I had the interview tonight. 93,000 people when he beat Hogan at WrestleMania 3. And I was on that card. And there was 93,000 people there. And we took a golf cart to go to the ring. It was so far to get there. But what I wanted to know, I was thinking about that. That was same pay-per-view. That was WrestleMania 3. It was the biggest. Do you have any idea of the figures? Like how many millions or around the world could have seen a pay-per-view in those days, like Hogan against the Giant?
Yeah, I knew it was closed caption for a while. You know, that was around 85, 86, the first two. It became more popularized and broadcast around the third one. Because I know the fourth and fifth one, Vince was aligning with Donald Trump at the time. That was the Trump Plaza. Yeah, so yeah, around that time, the exposure started to really break out around WrestleMania 3 and 4 and 5. Yeah.
But you need amazing what Andre the Giant did for the business. But
absolutely.
But I remember that day in that match. You know, there was so much excitement, and the boys. You know, it was the biggest crowd we had ever seen, 93,000 people. And but Andre was he was something great. He wasn't a great wrestler. Let's be honest with each other. He wasn't.
He was huge though. He was,
He got a hell of an ass bump. I mean, like in the corner there, you know, when he put you in the corner, he'd give you that boom with his butt.
Yeah, I mean, he really popularized just like if it wasn't, you know, like I said, they were in closed caption. I mean, closed circuit for a while. You know, starting in the WrestleManias, and then the second one started to, because a lot of WrestleManias was like in movie theaters and things like that. Especially the second one, it was in three different cities, right? And so Andre really helped kind of put WWE on the map when it came to more of a global, you know, type of influence, because that Hogan and Andre dynamic, that Hogan and Andre feud, I mean, it rippled everywhere. You know,
amazing.
And especially because Andre was such a baby face for so long, right? And then Heenan was the one who kind of took him to the dark side, and you know, he was talking about how achieved Hogan was. I remember one show, you know, Hogan had a bigger trophy, and then you know, and he was in his ear. You know,
he was good. Heenan was good with the Giant.
He was he was a really, really good counterpart to Andre the Giant. And I remember, like it was yesterday. I was a kid, and Heenan was in Andre's ear, and then Andre did the dreaded ripping of the chain, and melted. You know, so because even before then, you know, he was in the WWE. He was part of the Machines, right? You know, he was.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. He was.
Bill Eadie was in there. Who was in there? There was
Bill Eadie. It was. I think Mulligan was one of the Machines. I think Piper was one of the Machines. Yeah.
Was Piper a machine? He's a small machine.
I think it was called Piper Machine. I think it was called the gimmick at that time. Yeah. So
you know what? And going back to there's something I got to explain to the people. One feeling, it comes straight to my heart. When I was playing crib with him, you know, everybody was afraid of him as a big monster. But when he was such a baby, he was a really big baby. And sometimes when you play cribbage, you know, for people who don't know how to play crib, you have each your hand, but you have an extra hand. When you have a crib, so we get two hands against one. And when would be the time to, let's say that we wouldn't remember whose crib it was. And Andre was so funny because he'd say, "It's my crib." And I'd look at him and I'd look at him like this, like, and then he'd look at me like, "I'm telling you, it's my crib." And I was cheating him as a liar, you know. And he was like, but he would laugh. He would laugh just because he couldn't hold back, just to see me doubt him, you know. Like, but I got to tell you something. He was so miserable at the end, Andre, because you know, I understand him completely in a way. You live by the sword, you die by the sword, my friend.
Yeah.
And he was so popular, but everybody that looked at him, it was more like whether it was kids or grown-ups, it wasn't like, hey, look, that's Andre. It was always like,
yeah.
He was always, it was mean. It was like, look at that freak, look at that. And after a while, he started drinking a lot, and you know that. And so when we were on planes sometime, he was like, we'd start the morning, have like an 8-hour flight. I was thinking, I'd never seen a guy drink like that in my life, Chris. I mean, and his beers, it was like a pen, he's like holding the bottle like this, he's taking a sip, and it's too bad because he didn't want to see people at the end. And people would come up to him, and like I always talked about Flair and guys that even Hogan, and they always, when someone come in the airport at 5 a.m, can I have an autograph, please? The guys were always there. But sometimes Andre at the end, he wasn't there, and like he made me feel like $1 million to be sitting with him, beside him in the plane crib. He also made me feel really awkward sometimes, like when a nice person would come up to her and autograph. Get out of here! I was like, I'd say, holy mackerel! It's like, don't scream so loud. You scared me. And I know him. Imagine the person that didn't know him. He embarrassed me. And I'll tell you one thing: he could shake a plane.
Really?
When he had gas, I tell you, that guy, I'll tell you, he was pretty embarrassing sometimes. You'd be sitting
500-pound thunder there.
I tell you, everybody got the message. But anyway, he was like that in the dressing room. He'd be sitting in the dressing room, and out of nowhere, you'd hear a lightning and thunder. Just everybody would look at him like, holy mackerel.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?